Hi, I'm Mark, one of the technical team here at StoreMagic, and in this video we are going to be deploying SpSAN, or at least bare metal SvSAN, to some DL145 Gen11 systems to build our own highly available synchronously mirrored SAN device. So if we take a look at these systems as to what I have, these have kind of been loaned to us by HPE in the Alpharetta lab. So these DL145s have a high core count, 2.3 gig CPU there. We've got memory in the form of 192, I think, gigabytes of RAM, and a couple of 10 gig NICs, 10 gig base T NICs. And on the storage side, we've got then some boot storage as NS204s and a RAID 5 in this instance of some 3.84 terabytes, not that we can see there. So what I'm going to do is start to boot them up so that we can check on that storage in a minute, but also then mount up my StoreMagic SAN ISO. Now, you can obviously tell with the systems that we're going to be doing some stuff with SvHCI on these as well. So really excited to be doing that in a second. But this video is all about then getting the bare metal SAN running on these systems as well. So we can see then SpSAN, and we'll power this guy on as well. Okay, so obviously catching that F11 prompt to select our boot device. So selecting then our ILO virtual CD-ROM, where we're going to do a manual install in this instance. So same thing here with just a bit longer ILO virtual CD-ROM, and away we go. So you can see there that using the ISO that I have, rather than offering me to install SvHCI, this is offering me to install a SAN node. So select option 1. I'm going to put that onto the NS204 boot device, and as we can see there, that MR416 managed 17 odd terabyte NVMe. And select my NIC device, and I can then assign a static IP address. We've got 10.10.1.157. run on lab, so run a slash 16. There we go. VLAN tag DNS to 1.7.3. And away we go. Then repeat that over on our other node as well. Extra finger presses. So what I did there was a Control C to restart the installation. Okay. Okay, one down. Okay, so with that guy all booted, I am going to hook up to him on a web tab. So we can see self-signed certificate. We're going to log in with the default credentials of admin and password. And obviously, if we had any issues as regards those IP settings during config or DHCP, we can obviously console around password and be able to set those differently or do whatever we're doing there. Okay, still just coming up. And what we come up into then is a first boot wizard. So first we accept the license agreement, and then we license up the node we can see here. So this is going to route out to licensing.storemagic.com. Obviously offline licensing, perfectly feasible with a little license file. And then we give it a name and a domain. And we're obviously going to change that default password to something of our own choosing. So, and then password, default credentials, remember, the license agreement. And here is a reference just to show it. We can do an offline, whoops, browsers within browsers. We can do a, all right, we'll grab one of these guys, licensing storemagic.com, and we can download an offline license file and paste in our serial, and I'm going to grab that key there, submit that. That's going to pull that little license file, and we choose file, and we simply upload the license file to the box. That's for if you're in a closed environment. So give it a name with a domain name and your own secure password and credentials. Easy as that. So just flicking back then as we're all up and running out of the console, we can obviously go storage information, we can see our storage, and we can see then our storage controllers, where we can see our NVMEs, and our RAID disks, as it were, in this example. So we will come up. Okay, no, we won't. We'll come up in maintenance mode. It's picked up the full signature typically. Let me tear this down a minute and do that. Okay, so system into maintenance mode. Yes, please. So we'll come up in maintenance mode, and that's because we're currently in this beta phase with this thing. It's just they're looking for this additional disk to put the journal on. Now we don't need to use an additional disk. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to my pools tab, and I'm going to create a pool, SpSAN 01 pool 0, just to be imaginative, and we're going to put that on our 17 terabyte SAN volume, as it were. Now, under my devices, I can then configure the storage journal, and I'm going to put that storage journal on my SAN pool. And at that point, I can then come out of maintenance mode. So same thing here, one more time. I'm going to come to my pools. I'm going to create a pool. Here, 2 on the 17 terabyte to create. We are going to then go to devices, configure storage journal. We're going to put that on that pool, and then we're going to exit maintenance mode. So within our discovery tab, we can then see that this environment is a nice open network. Multicast isn't blocked, so they've automatically picked each other up. And we can see we also have my witness service running on this Windows jump box that I'm working from here to be my quorum to the mirror. So I'll just do magic. There we go, witness service. And this is effectively my host name of my machine. Here, Q2LA, Q2LA. Now, under my networking then, I've currently got a management and a mirror failover. I'm actually going to enable iSCSI connectivity on there. Let's do the same on this guy here. And then I'm actually going to create me an additional interface for my synchronization networking to go over. So that's going to go on E9, sync. To 168.69.1, /24, and I'm going to do as preferred. And here, I do the same thing, create interface as a NIC. In preferred interface. Now we can see here that we can make sure that that's all working correctly. SvSAN certs having changed its IP addressing 192.168.69.1. So we're pinging across absolutely fine. We can also do a quick speed test. Interestingly enough, let's do that. So just come here. This will regenerate up that cert, having changed its networking. The speed test will set this guy into a client mode on sync. And we can then come over and put you on sync in. What have I done here? Server mode, good. Client mode, good. Move to 168.69.1. Put the 0 on that. Just copy across 10 gig over the wire and make sure that we're getting our 10 gig throughput in this example over those interfaces. Okay, so all looking good there. Now, as I say, under discovery, we see each of the nodes and we see our witness. What we don't have is any initiators to log into this thing. Now, we can manually create them for this example, and it's going to be different, obviously, depending on whether you're Windows or VMware or what you're mounting to. But I'm now going to punch in my iSCSI interface IP addresses into the initiator here and hit a refresh such that this initiator on my Windows box goes out to those guys, triggers a rescan so that the initiator is then known. Okay. So we're then going to go ahead and create our mirrored target. So mirrored data store. Again, just to be imaginative, I'm going to be lazy and give it one blob of storage. We're going to add that initiator and then we check our mirroring box. Here we can then see that we're going to do a majority, so a 2-node and a witness. We're going to do our witness as my jump box, and we're mirroring across to SpSAN 1, and we select create there. As that then cranks its way up, we can see that running 1.72 gigabytes per second, 2.29 gigabytes per second. Because those disks are just zeros, they're not bottlenecking on that 10 gig NIC. So we're able to go faster than the speed of the 10 gig. How much of this in just a second? I've seen this at about 3 gigabytes per second with these drives. So with the storage created, we can then refresh here one more time, and it will go out and rescan one more time and find that target that I just created. And we're then going to connect up. We're going to enable multipath. We're going to select advanced and choose our local adapter, our localized SCSI IP, and then our remote node to create a session to. And then one more time creating a session to the other node in the mirror. So our local IP, and then over to 158. And we OK that such that we have the 2 sessions to the disk and a target that we could then put a CSVFS on top of if we were a failover cluster, if we were doing some SQL, a VMFS if we were mounting to VMware. We effectively have, in the space of 20 minutes, deployed a 2-node synchronously mirrored SAN solution for various different virtualization and perhaps even non-virtualization use cases. We have some synchronously mirrored shared storage, and obviously we can also do the additional pieces like SSD read-write, memory-based read cache, data at rest encryption on those volumes as well. So really quick, really powerful stuff. Build your own SAN on standard hardware. Thanks very much for listening to me, and hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.